Hello, welcome everybody. We tried to go live. For those of you who hopped on live, my sincere apologies that the technical gods were just not working in our favor today. Wi-Fi, I don't know, maybe because everybody and their mother is on Wi-Fi right now. We have so much time on our hands being home. Yes, so hello from one fellow isolation homie to another. I am here today with a very special guest. This beautiful smiling face is more than just a pretty face. She is super, super wicked smart. Her name is Kristin, and you'll find her on IG at the Accounting Collective. She is an accountant who works with small businesses, but what I love about her approach is that she helps small businesses not just look at their financial statements and then say bye-bye and take their money. She actually helps act as like a financial advisor. Most companies do not have a CFO. They have, outsource their accounting, small businesses, right? But they don't have somebody to actually interpret the results of what their spending means and what real cash flow they have to spend. So Kristin helps make recommendations based on, how a business is actually doing and what direction they should go with their money. And so I appreciate that about her. So I asked Kristin to come on today because I have gotten quite a few messages from clients and from, my followers asking about ideas for saving money right now. What should they do? Should they spend money? How long is this, should we anticipate to try to have to cut back? So I have been getting questions from people about spending money. And I think now is a good time for people to think about getting creative with their cash flow. And not so much being in the mindset of saving as much, because we want to grow our businesses. I mean, I'm in the business of helping grow businesses. And the only way to do that is to really lean in and capitalize on an opportunity when an economy is ripe for a transfer of wealth, right? Because the money doesn't go away. Somebody's gonna spend. I mean, look at the grocery stores right now; they're making bank, So, advertising costs are low. There's just a lot of opportunity, and so I really want to help my clients not put step on the brakes in terms of building their business and really sharpening their pencils, but step on the gas pedal. And so we need to lean on experts like you, Kristin, to give us some ideas of how can we get creative with our cash flow? What are some things we can do to really save and reallocate resources so that we can continue to build our businesses and feel confident about our financial situations right now?
Absolutely. So that just made me think of something that I deal with money all the time. I see people's money going in and going out, and I see a variety of things happen for lots of different businesses. But I do think it's important to remember that no matter how things are going in the economy or in your personal life, whatever, cash money is currency. It's an exchange of energy, really, is what it is. Some people give it really is the meaning that you give it. So some people have put so much behind it, and now they're coming from this scarcity mindset that now there's not enough to go around. I have to hoard it. I have to hold on to it. Oh my gosh, I can't spend anything because there won't be any. And when you have that mindset, it really does manifest in,
Well, if you think about it, really, that's our stock exchange is really just a projection of thoughts that people have, right? I mean, all of it is speculation and energy and meaning that we put behind what we think is going to happen, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So if you think about it, the money that had been circulating in the economy, it is all still there.
Right.
People are just holding on to it.
Right.
So it's there, it's available. Yes, now is a time to think about where it's going to go. Right. But that doesn't mean that it's time to go hide in a bunker. So I think there are some things that you can tactically do to help the situation. And the first thing that I encourage people to do is just take an actual look at what's going in and out of your bank account. And that sounds silly. Like, I know what's going out of my bank account, but some people really don't know. So if you were to take a look at your business bank account, I would bet money that there are things that are coming out that you didn't realize, or things that you're paying for. And you would go, oh, I thought I canceled that subscription months ago, or, why am I paying for Netflix 4 times? Or,
Well, and I know, like, I can speak for like my clients, they're running a busy medical practice, right? And the busier they get and the more they evolve as a business, the more things they need. And sometimes there's oversight that happens just unintentionally, or like maybe as a provider of a service or a product starts to add something on, like adds more value within their package, but then you're still paying for that same thing that was added on with another one,
right.
So yeah, so I think I don't think there should be any shame in the fact that you really don't know, because it's an exercise we all have to do on a regular basis, right?
Right. And I mean, my business is very small. I have, 1 full-time employee, and then there's me, and then we have, some part-time people. But even then we have, almost 100 subscriptions that run through every month. And I don't know what some of them are. I'm like, what is this? And it's like, oh, well, we were on a free trial for this, and then we forgot to cancel it, or, just things like that.
Right.
Important to look at. And then also, if you are scaling back in certain ways, like you are, having to let go of employees or things like that, talk to your payroll provider. You probably shouldn't be paying as much in fees, those sorts of things. So, your fees should adjust if you're scaling back in certain ways. And then that brings me to my next point, is that if you do have a brick and mortar business and you have multiple employees, you have high rent costs, which, we're in California, rent is, pretty high here. People are feeling very, very concerned about, how am I going to continue to pay rent, continue to keep some of my employees when we're not in business. And I would encourage those businesses especially to look into the SBA loans that are being offered right now. And they're really good. They're up to $2 million, and it's 1% over 10 years. So it's a great opportunity for some of these businesses that need to float the operations of their business while they're not operating, unfortunately.
Yes.
So, I would definitely look into that. And that is just one way, but I know that there's going to be multiple types of loans like that for disasters, emergency situations that are going to come available really soon here.
Great. Okay. And how does someone go about looking into an SBA loan?
So it's actually really easy. I looked into it for one of my clients today. You can go on the SBA, you can Google SBA loan. California, I think, is what I did. And they have them in different states as well. You can just Google it. It'll take you right to the website. And it does tell you our website is very slow right now. And you register, you fill out an application, and then they email you and get more information from you. You have to submit a tax return, a business tax return, and some financial statements. And then they make a decision based on need.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. And then some other things that we can talk about in terms of cash flow is, as a small business, I like to work with other small businesses, because I know, we live and breathe our businesses. It's important to us. We put our heart and soul into it.
We're one with the business.
Yeah, for sure. So I work with, a lot of other small businesses, advertising and consultants and coaches and all of that. And I'm only one person, and it's hard. And everybody's situation is different, but I'm trying to at least stay in contract with the other small businesses that I'm working with, because I know that they're suffering and struggling too. So I'm really trying to make sure that I can honor those contracts. And for businesses where you feel like, okay, I have a contract with another small business, like maybe an advertising agency or, a business coach that I'm working with, and I know it's just them. If you are having a hard time paying, or you're not going to be able to, call them up and
Yeah.
maybe work something out, or say, I'm not going to be able to pay this month, but I know I can, on this time frame, or can I extend my payment plan or something? And I know that they're going to want to work with you.
Yeah. I just did that with a client yesterday who
Yeah,
needed, he needed some extra grace. So
for sure.
we're all in this together.
Exactly. And I think it goes a long way to not be a jerk during this
Yeah.
time. Don't be a jerk and not pay people if you are obligated to pay without having a conversation with them first, saying, this is going to be a stretch for me. Let's try to work something out. And also, don't be a jerk and tell people, I'm going to, shut you down if you don't pay me. We are all in this together. And I think the way that you conduct yourself in business right now will go a long way for when this is over, because people will remember how you were during these times, and they're going to say, okay, I remember how Kaeli was and the grace she extended to me, and I want to continue to do business with her.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think that this is a character building time.
For sure.
This last week, I'll tell you, like for me, I think, I have appreciated the people who are in alignment, of just interested in making it work for everybody and be a win-win. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
There are some other things that I think people should look at too, in terms of just stepping outside of the box that they usually are thinking from, in terms of being creative with how they're running their business, that could dramatically affect how their cash flow evolves. For businesses, I had told you before, I have a client that's a dance studio, and she is a new dance studio, and she was like, what am I going to do? I just bought this building, and now nobody can come in, these kids can't come in. And so she made the decision to live stream all of her classes, and she was pulling late nights researching, trying to figure out how to make this happen. And she found a really awesome solution, and she actually had very few people cancel, and kids are still able to log in and take their classes from home, and it's been working out pretty well for her. And so yeah, it took some time, it took some thinking, it was stressful for her, but sometimes if you kind of just think outside of where you currently are, you realize that there are opportunities to continue to serve your client base, but in a different way. And I do understand that there are some businesses, like, the doctors that you work with, where, you can't obviously service somebody online, but there may be other opportunities to still.
Yeah. No, we have a client right now we're building a Facebook group for, and we're building education modules, and he's going live and just teaching, in an effort, not necessarily monetizing that, although there are ways, and potentially over time we may end up going that direction, but just tapping into this downtime to really to connect in a different way with their patients.
Right.
So I love that idea. And then you mentioned about negotiating bank fees. That's something I hadn't really thought of.
Yes. So right now, banks, I know all of the major banks have, sent out emails to their customers saying, we will work with you during this time. And one of the ways they will work with their clients is not charge them bank fees. So if you're getting charged bank fees for overdrafts, for late payments, for things like that, they should all be waived. And if they're not, you can pick up the phone and call them, and they will reverse them. And I know it doesn't seem like much, but they shouldn't be charging the monthly maintenance fees either, or wire transfer fees. And for some people, that ends up being, over $100 a month, or sometimes a lot more than that. So just little things like that can go a long way. Same with interest rates right now. If you have a loan, or if you're paying, on credit cards or something, you can negotiate your interest rate right now. Interest rates have dropped significantly. So I would work on that. And that's something that, the only thing it costs you is some time
right.
and, getting on the phone. So I would definitely take advantage of that while you can.
And I think too, like just considering to make the call to negotiate anything at this point, just to say like, what can we do? Right.
Right.
Yeah. I think thinking that that's just opening yourself up to the fact that that's a possibility.
Right.
Yeah.
And even with like your landlord, for people that are paying rent for their business or personally, pick up the phone and say, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay this month. Can we change the terms?
Right.
And I know in the state of California, you can't technically be evicted for 6 months, but that doesn't mean you don't have to pay. So you do still have to pay, but, definitely be reaching out to these people because they're in the same boat too. So,
right. Exactly. Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Kristin, for all of your wise tips here. And I'm super excited to type up these points that you made and get them out to the world and dive in with my clients on some of these strategies for negotiating and getting creative. So
yeah.
Can you just tell everybody where they can find you so they can get access to your awesomeness directly?
Oh, sure. I am on Instagram and on Facebook at The Accounting Collective, and my website is at www.theaccountingcollective.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Hang in there, Mama.
All right, you too.
All right, take care. Bye.